The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. After the arrival of a fresh batch of AstraZeneca vaccines, the government assures the public that more shots are on the way. Officials are also eyeing to focus on pushing more Filipinos to complete their vaccine doses. Justine Punsalang with the report.
More than 1 million doses of AstraZeneca vaccines donated by Japan arrived in the country on Thursday night. President Rodrigo Duterte personally received the American-made vaccines together with Health Secretary Francisco Duque, vaccine czar Carlito Galvez, and Japan Chargé d'Affaires Masahiro Nakata. In his speech, Duterte thanked Japan and its Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga for the donation.
Let me thank the government of Japan and the Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga for working with the Philippine government in ensuring equitable access to COVID-19 vaccines. These more than 1 million doses of AstraZeneca vaccine will surely go a long way in our quest for herd immunity.
Duterte also once again encouraged Filipinos to get vaccinated.
Please know that we remain committed to acquiring a sufficient supply of safe and effective COVID-19 vaccines for all of our countrymen. I therefore urge everyone to get vaccinated and help prevent the further spread of the virus. We should all continue to follow safety rules and health protocols even when fully vaccinated.
Duque said the newly donated shots will be allocated to high-risk areas like Iloilo City, Davao City, Cagayan de Oro, and Zamboanga. More AstraZeneca vaccines from COVAX and the much-anticipated Sputnik V are expected to arrive today and tomorrow. Galvez said they are currently modifying the country's vaccination strategy. Aside from prioritizing A2, A3, and A5 sectors, the government will also make sure that the population will receive their second dose, saying the current 6 million gap is too wide. Galvez added that they target to administer 40 million first doses before the end of the third quarter. He also noted that LGUs that bought their own stocks of vaccines may have a higher chance of reaching herd immunity earlier. Meanwhile, the decision to require a negative RT-PCR test for fully vaccinated tourists is left to the discretion of the LGUs. Duque said that it was agreed upon in the IATF meeting that there will no longer be a uniform travel requirement.
The final agreement there is to give the LGUs the option, to the leeway, the option to require RT-PCR testing. No? So, yun, that's the clarification that has been made. We will give them the option because they will make their own risk assessment.
Duque added that LGUs may choose to require vaccination cards for tourists. In line with this, the DICT already started processing the digital certification for vaccinees. Duque earlier told One News' The Chiefs that the DICT has so far encoded 3.6 million out of at least 12 million vaccinees in their database.
Ang naging issue sa vaccination card, yung authentication and validation. So yung DICT is working on the digital certification, vaccine certification, and by July 31st, their commitment is to be able to upload and code 90% of the total vaccinated individuals.
For News 5, Justine Punsalang, we are One News.
The government is now expediting work on the creation of a central vaccinee database. This was confirmed by NTF COVID-19 spokesperson Resty Padilla in an interview with the chiefs. Padilla revealed that they have already conducted dry runs for this new system, but they admit that they're still facing challenges in centralizing the database. These include fixing bugs and the variety of platforms being used by LGUs. Because of the lack of a centralized platform, Padilla says he understands the inhibitions of LGUs in allowing vaccinees to enter their localities.
I cannot blame the LGUs at this time. We do understand the plight of some areas, particularly those that are still experiencing some sort of surge. Because the local chief executives are actually the ones who really know the situation on the ground. And they really need to take the lead in putting up measures and steps in order to control the spread of the virus in their area. So I will probably say that our IATF cabinet members are also considering that and respecting the local chief executive desire to be able to control the surge.
Families of the soldiers who died in the Salou crash are still grieving for the loss of their loved ones. They're now taking comfort in the fact that the fallen soldiers lost their lives serving the nation. Mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro gives us a front seat to the story.
These were the last moments of Army Private Christopher Rolon, boarding the C-130 Hercules with tail number 5125 in Cagayan de Oro City. His family knew they would see him again. They just didn't expect that Christopher would come home in a body bag.
Yun lang po masasabi namin sa kanya, kaming lahat dito. Mahal na mahal namin siya.
Rolon initially survived the crash, suffering serious burns all over his body. He also tested positive for COVID-19, but Rolon was living on borrowed time. In less than 24 hours, he was already dead.
As in masakit, pero hindi ko pinapakita sa kanya kasi ayaw niya yung taong nakasimangot o malungkot or umiyak ka kasi palagi po siyang nakaka-smile po.
President Duterte awarded the first 7 identified soldiers with the Order of Lapu-Lapu. It was a sore point for the family that Rolon was not among them. Another casualty, Lieutenant Sheena Alexandria Tato. Her cousin Lester Sagindang described her as kind and supportive, whose only dream was to help the family.
Saturday night, nakausap ko pa po siya. Sinabi ko, ate, na-interview na po ako sa bago kong trabaho, ganito. Tumatawa pa siya na, ay, talaga, natanggap ka, congratulations. Tapos,
for now, the families try to take solace with the fact that their loved ones died in service of the country. In the meantime, the Armed Forces of the Philippines says it has no information yet on whether there was any malfunction with the ill-fated plane. I'm Jacob Lazaro and we are One News.
One of the framers of the 1987 Constitution believes that charter change isn't necessary to address the validity of President Duterte's potential vice presidential bid. Speaking with the chiefs, Attorney Christian Monsod explained that Section 4, Article 7 of the Constitution states that the president is only eligible for a 6-year term. While there is no express prohibition on the re-election of a president to VP, Monsod pointed out that the vice presidency serves as a backdoor to returning as president. And for him, this poses a problem, especially if Duterte's camp plans to have their president vacate office once elected. Despite this, Monsod is confident that the COMELEC and the Supreme Court can sufficiently address the issue once raised.
Actually, if there is, in October is the filing of certificate of candidacy, then maybe there's already an issue. But the first step is the COMELEC. The COMELEC will have to decide whether he's qualified or not. And then those who do not agree with the COMELEC's decision, whatever it is, will certainly go to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court will eventually have to interpret that provision.
Cargo vessel MV Palawan Pearl, which carries up to 3,000 liters of diesel oil, remains partially submerged just 100 meters away from Baseco Beach. Recall that on Thursday, the cargo vessel collided with foreign utility boat BKM 104 at the Manila South Harbor, leaving MV Palawan Pearl half submerged. The Coast Guard has already laid out 4 segments of oil spill booms to contain a possible leak, as oil sheen has been spotted in the area. No one was reported hurt due to the collision, but the PCG has asked both the MV Palawan Pearl and the BKM 104 to file maritime protests regarding the incident. British rock band Coldplay is set to perform its latest single, Higher Power, on ASAP Live from the UK. That and more stories in this report from MJ Marfori.
After a one-year delay, Netflix will finally stream Pinoy romantic movie My Amanda on July 15. It's a tale of two unusually close friends who share every aspect of their lives together. It stars Alessandra De Rossi, who is also making her directorial debut, and Piolo Pascual, who is a co-producer. Alex recounted the challenges while filming in La Union for 9 days straight.
Uwi namin after 2 days, 3 beses akong na-hospital. Yes, dalawang na-confine, tas isa parang emergency room lang.
Papa P and Alex hope My Amanda will spark hope amongst lost souls.
This film makes you realize that, there can be somebody, you don't have to be romantically involved with this person to feel better about life.
Meron kang value to someone, definitely. Imposibleng wala.
Meanwhile, Higher Power is coming to Asap Natin To this July 11. Coldplay will perform on the longest-running noontime show live from the United Kingdom. For News 5, MJ Marfori, we are One News.
And those are the top stories at this hour. Join us again later at 12 noon as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com. So you can stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.